Good Thursday.
My dad. Anybody else's dad do this? Okay, I want to see in the comments. Anybody else's dad do this? Not this part. Wait for it. Dad, you fell asleep. I was just resting my eyes. Just resting my eyes. Sure you were. You were loudly resting your eyes. So loud, you just came out of your meditative state. You fell asleep. No, I didn't. Just resting my eyes. Like, why do you have to be right? You fell asleep. You lie to me about falling asleep too.
Oh, I do that all the time.
We're watching a movie. She'll do.
I have
she'll
the
do
10
this.
minutes rule.
She'll do this. She'll do this.
I do that.
She'll twitch, and I know she's asleep. I'm like, "Are you awake?" Uh-huh. Like, why do you have to lie? It's not bad if you're falling asleep. You're just falling asleep.
That's why every time I watch a movie, I'm like, let's watch it in bed. AKA, read me bedtime story.
90 seconds later. So funny. Oh, gosh. Dads. I love my dad.
Are you saying that I'm a dad?
No, I said I love my dad. I said, but he will lie about falling asleep. He's trying to tell me he rest his eyes. I know.
And I do that too.
I know damn good and well.
Do you guys do that too? Do you lie about you falling asleep? Because I definitely do that.
My dad just falls back asleep. So funny. Brittany, husband says, I'm just resting my eyes. Such a dad move.
Dad moves. Tell them a dad joke.
Oh gosh.
Tell them a good dad
I'm
joke.
not good at remembering dad jokes. I got nothing for you. I tell my own original jokes. You know what? I made up a joke actually.
Mm-hmm.
I made up a joke. I remember this one because I made it up. Go look for it on Google. I guarantee you will not find it because I made it up. What do you call? Oh, I have to remember what the question is. What do you call the candy that is in a white chocolate wrapper? Yeah, a white chocolate wrapper. Candy in an edible wrapper.
We know you guys eat candy.
Come on, candy lovers. What do you call it?
And while you're at it, drop a comment with your favorite candy.
Oh, we're going to get some dad jokes. This is good. You better write the answer too.
Okay. Well, we got to get to today's episode. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here all day.
M&M.
Oh, wow. Patricia got it. Nice work, Patricia.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. I'm so funny. Okay. There's another one here, though. How Dairy Queen get pregnant? Burger King forgot to wrap his Whopper. So good. It's so good.
How do you make a tissue dance?
Put a little boogie in it. I heard that's a good one. Okay.
That's a good one.
The only white wrapper I know of. So, today's episode.
So, yeah, on Thursdays, we talk about all things lifestyle. And we figured since it's the summertime, a lot of people like to go on vacations. A lot of people like to treat themselves. Summer or not summer, people like to treat themselves. Let's just be honest. But when you're health conscious, I think a question that's really common is, how do I treat myself in a way that's guilt-free?
Who likes to treat themselves? Let's admit, though, and be honest, who has been treating themselves when maybe not necessarily they feel like they should have been treating themselves.
An unearned treat.
An unearned treat. You know when it's earned and when it's unearned because it feels bad when it's unearned. You feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guilt.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing that we have to consider is, what did you do in order to earn that treat? And something that's really important to consider, because we see it way too often in this industry, is, like, this is one of the things that happens like on a very regular basis. Like, I'm not just talking like macro scale, like in a sense of like when you go on vacation or on the weekend, but I'm talking like on a day-to-day basis. Like, too many people who work out to treat themselves because they feel like if they worked out, that deserves a treat. So, like, can you do that? Sure you can. Is it going to get you very far? It's all relative. So, the first thing that you have to consider is, what do you need to do in order to earn that treat? Imagine if you go to the gym every day and for every workout that you do, you reward yourself with, let's say, a couple glasses of wine. Then are you actually going to see the benefits of the workout? Or are you creating some kind of codependency? However, this is something that's going to be different for every person based on where they're at in their journey. Because if somebody, let's say, like after a workout would go and get, like, let's say, a Five Guys meal because they just had a great workout.
Because I earned it.
And they earned it. And now instead they, I don't know, they do sweet potato fries with their burger instead of regular fries. Okay, like you're making a transition. I respect that.
Improvement.
And that's what it's all about. But I can tell you that the more progress you've made, the more it's going to require of you in order to earn it. However, only you can decide how do you need to show up, or what do you need to accomplish in order for you to earn something. Like, I will tell you this, we live in a society where too many people treat themselves for things that they haven't earned.
In all kinds of ways.
And yeah, and this is like aside from food. But the reason why this happens is because they don't have a plan. We're talking about a long-term plan. Like, where am I going 10, 20 years from now? And, like, what's going to happen over the next 3 months? There is no plan. So it's like every time there is like a dopamine rush because of, something small that just showed you that, okay, like instant gratification. You're like, okay, I earned my treat. Did you earn your treat because it's Friday? Because you made it through the week? Like, do you need to treat yourself because you've earned it? Because you've made it through the week? The truth is that probably not. Like, if we're being really honest, sometimes yes, but that is only something that you can define for yourself. And it could be every 3 days too, but only you can define for yourself, knowing the circumstances of your life, knowing what are you currently working towards, knowing what is your long-term plan, what is your short-term plan, what are your benchmarks when you've accomplished something that, is worthy of a celebration of some sort. Okay, so know that there is no right or wrong here. It's just the reason why this happens in such a flawed manner in society is because people don't have a plan. And most of the time, when people think they have a plan, they don't actually have a plan.
Yeah, like in my mind, I was thinking like fake earned versus actually earned.
Yeah.
Meaning like, oh, I worked out today, so I earn 2 scoops, not 1. Versus like, I think where it comes in is that oftentimes when we say we're going to treat ourselves, we haven't actually clearly defined what it is that we would have needed to do or have accomplished or followed through with, that it would determine something as earned or not. Right? You're a kid. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I got an allowance for doing certain things. That's earned, right? I want to look up the definition of earned. To earn something.
Did you see that it auto-corrected you?
Unbelievable. Earn, obtain in return for labor or services, a cause to obtain. So you've done something and you get something in return for it. Cause and then effect. I swept the kitchen floor and I put away the clean dishes and I took out the garbage. I earned some money. Now the thing is that what I had to do to earn the money was very clearly defined. You've got to take out the garbage, you've got to sweep the floor, and you got to put the clean dishes away by whatever time. Whatever day of the week, And so if I completed the thing, I knew what I was going to get. I think that we just don't clearly define what it means for us to, like, what is the objective that needs to be completed in order to earn something. So now we're just saying, it's literally, if you haven't defined what you need to do to earn something, it's called justification. I'm going to eat this because why? I've got to find some kind of reason why. What did I do that was good lately? I worked out. I earned it. But it wasn't clearly defined ahead of time. So now it's called a justification. There's a difference.
And that sounds rigid, which it is.
I think it's pretty clear. Would anybody disagree?
No, I would say it's like, I would say that this is pretty rigid, but that's because like we're very like hyper aware.
What do you mean rigid?
Like it's a very like cutthroat like way of thinking, but it's the truth.
It's black and white, but it's
the truth though.
But
it really is the truth.
Look, it all goes back to intentionality, something we talk about all the time. I don't think it's rigid. I think it's just something that we maybe were not aware of before.
Yeah. I have a graph. Treating yourself.
You have a graph?
Boogie has something to say too. So I feel like there is a spectrum of how this evolves, and I'm speaking from my own life journey. Hold on, I'm writing. So it goes a little something like this. The spectrum lies between treating yourself for doing the right thing, all the way up to treating yourself for accomplishing something. Okay, so like for example, if you're just getting started on your weight loss journey, right? And let's say you're starting from like, you have like lots of habits that you're not even aware of. You have, like over 50 pounds to lose. Like I would say that in that case, like, like you've got a long way to go. So therefore you are currently at the beginning of your journey. And when I'm saying beginning, I mean beginning in comparison to like what you're actually capable of. It would make sense if, let's say, you're on your first week and you're like, "Ooh, I showed up all week. Therefore, I'm going to have a treat meal." Like when you're at the beginning of your journey, like that is totally cool and you can totally get away with that. However, as you keep on progressing, you will realize that by treating yourself just for doing the right thing becomes a justification and not something that you've earned. Okay? So this is something that keeps on evolving. And over time, what it evolves to is, you acknowledging that a good time to treat yourself is a time after you've accomplished something great. And I truly believe that this is why people who, like, let's say you've been on your weight loss journey, you hit a plateau, like why a lot of people will like want to do like marathons or these things, because mentally they're looking for something to earn so that they can treat themselves when they don't actually care to earn that thing. What they care more about is that treat. And that's why, like, when any of our clients, like out of nowhere, is like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if it sounds kind of random, the first thing that we'll ask is, what is your intention? Okay. Because we want to make sure that you're being intentional about something. And
that your intention is in alignment with your goals. We see squirrels and shiny things all the time. And so, they're marathon. Like the first thing I thought about when you said, when people like want to sign up or register for like a half marathon or something, it's like, what's the intention? So many times the intention is to motivate them to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
So are you like, is that the right thing now? Like, and then if you don't go deeper into it, like you could be getting yourself into, not that you shouldn't have motivators, but you've got to have a good understanding of what your intention is for each thing that you're doing. And is it the right action for what the intention is via alignment with your goals? I don't know if that made any sense.
Yeah. So, there is a spectrum that evolves along your journey, really, depending on where you're at. So, like based on where you currently are, like consider it appropriate for you. Because I will tell you that at this point in my life, just because I showed up Monday through Friday does not mean that I'm going to treat myself. Absolutely not. Like I will have to overcome something that I probably haven't done before in order for me to treat myself. Like we said before, this is more stringent. It truly is. But I will tell you this, that 8 years ago, that was definitely not the case. 8 years ago, by showing up for a workout 5 days a week, I will crush a jar of peanut butter.
I guess we should also determine the difference between treating yourself and an allowance of something that you've just simply given yourself regardless.
Yes, that's another point. So, and that goes under intentionality. So, like we said, whatever it is that you're treating yourself to, for one, you need to acknowledge like, what have I accomplished and where are you at in your journey to follow along that spectrum. You want to make sure that you're being in alignment with that, because otherwise what you're actually doing is, you're just bullshitting yourself to try to get away with things that are not really serving you, but you're just not as disciplined as you should be. That's where a lot of people, get stuck and hit plateaus because they think that, they can still get away with what they did to get to where they're at now in order to take it to the next level. And that's absolutely not the case.
To change,
you gotta change, so, you have to be intentional and you have to earn it. And only you can define based on where you're currently at. Okay, what do I need to accomplish in order to feel like I've earned something?
Can I say something about like earning food?
Yeah.
Really quick, just like if you've had a terrible relationship with food, then, pairing a actual like food treat with a weight loss goal met or some kind of fitness or something behavior, and using food as a reward will not work for everybody. Just so you know, like that, like we've been given food as a reward, like oftentimes just our whole childhood growing up. So now we think anytime I do something good, I'm going to treat myself to this food. That for some people could take you in the opposite direction that you want to go. So until, now there's something that's different, but when you're having like a celebratory drink or, something like that because of an accomplishment, oh my God, I got a new promotion, or, I've been working so hard to achieve XYZ. Let's, celebrate. Okay. But again, it's like having an intention going into that, not just like a free for all.
Mm-hmm.
But, using rewards, like we're specifically, this episode is talking about like how to have treats, how to have those things that don't necessarily help us get closer to our goals, but are fun to eat. Everybody in here likes like a piece of pizza or a brownie or ice cream or cake or chocolate.
Drop a yes or no. If you know that
something.
There is a food that you like that is definitely not in alignment with your goals.
What's the first food you just thought about? All of you just thought about a food. Type it. There's 45 people here. I want to see 45 comments.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving, maybe 40 comments.
I would say that if you're not, you're probably not human. Like just being fully honest.
Yeah, no, they're all human. Look at pizza, wine, chips, cookies, pizza, licorice, rice, cookies, salt and vinegar chips, tacos, ice cream, donuts, nachos, Reese's, French fries, pizza. Yeah. Dude, we all do. Look, it's cool. We're not, oh yeah, look at all these coming in. Pow, pow, pow. Look, we're not here to take these things away, but there is a time and a place and a how much. Know what I mean? Beer. So you get the point, right? That's what this episode is about. Like, how do I do that? Not feel guilty about it.
Yeah. So, the other thing to consider is based on where you're at, like for those of you guys who are in the inner circle and you're currently working on a progressive strategy of some sort, like, and this is something that continuously evolves, you have some form of weekly allowance, because it's important to understand in order to recreate wirings and like improve your relationship with food. It's not about denying yourself of what you love, but rather training yourself from a behavioral standpoint to increase your threshold as you're building more discipline to not be as dependent on that food and to not to consume it as much, while at the same time, physiologically, you're still moving ahead with your goals. Okay. So
to have control of your indulgences and know why and how you've allowed yourself to have that.
Yeah. So like that is a part of the program. And, that's what, let's say when you, by following through for a certain amount of time, like you've shown consistency with that, and then you progress, and the cycle evolves until you hit what's considered to be the benchmark. So we train you to move toward the benchmark. And once you hit the benchmark, then by that time, that is almost going to become your new habit. So, once you get to that new habit, then, like it's a matter of, okay, like where do I want to take it from here? Okay, like, do I want to, knowing that the right thing is this benchmark, I hit it. Okay, do I just want to continue being here, or do I want to try to push the bar even more and, figure out ways where I now need to accomplish something in order, for me to quote unquote treat myself, or, eat this thing or drink this thing that I love so much. Okay. So that too, like it requires intentionality, it requires planning, and it requires strategizing. Okay. And I recommend that, if you're one of those people, or like, I know that I can definitely benefit from that, then you should definitely consider joining our Inner Circle program, because one of our coaches is going to work on it hand in hand with you. Okay, provide you the strategy, continuously progress you, considering how you've shown up for a shorter period of time, and like it keeps on evolving. So we push the bar towards you hitting that like benchmark, and then like you decide, okay, like where do I want to take it from here? But at that point, it's like it becomes a second nature habit. So it's really, really cool to watch. The other thing that's aside from the intentionality, that's aside from, you figuring out whether you've earned it or not, is you need to take a second to think in advance with regards to what will be the consequences of this. Will there be any, and am I okay with it?
Can I like speak into that or add extra on that? So going back to what I was saying about like treating yourself with food as a reward for some people isn't going to work. And I think one thing about it is because there is no self-control when it comes to the treating. If you feel like if you were to treat yourself with food as a reward to something, but you wouldn't be able to control it, and then you would go just completely overboard and not stick to the intention that you set in how you're indulging, or how you're, what you're consuming or engaged in, then, that is a good sign that treating yourself with food is probably not the best option. But if like, okay, like I know the time, I know the place, I've got the intention, and I know what the allowance is, and I have confidence that I can stick to the allowance, right? Not turn a like a treat meal of some kind into a treat night, into a treat weekend.
Yeah.
So that's where we're treading water, and that's where we want to discover, like, am I on this side of the line or that side of the line?
Yeah. And a huge shout out to Samantha. You're 100% right. You used to drink alcohol like all the time. Now you've been alcohol free for how long? But that's because of consistency. It didn't happen overnight.
And coach.
Yeah.
Accountability, somebody to be there with you.
Strategy and accountability. That's the name of the game. So, the other thing that you want to explore is consequences. Let's say, let's go back to that graph, right? Like most people, live on this treating yourself for doing the right thing. Okay. Doing the right thing, basically, like I showed up for work Monday through Friday. Yay. It's the weekend. I made it through the week, and it is now the weekend. Okay.
But what did you do?
So therefore, 5 p.m. Friday night, okay, crack a beer, order some pizza because it's Friday night. Now, I have no problem with that. Like if you're aware of the consequences that, you know, obviously if it's not in alignment with your goals and you're still choosing to go through with that and you think that you really earned it, then by all means, you know, go for it. However, the reason why so many times treats are being overly consumed is because we're not stopping beforehand to just take a second to assess ourselves and our environment and say, whoa, like, are you okay with the consequence of how you're going to feel Saturday night? Considering, like, you know, like, let's say if you haven't felt like you've actually done something remarkable, like, let's say if you're just living the status quo and then, you know, you're treating yourself to beer and pizza or beer and wings just because.
Just on a regular basis too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, you got to think about the consequence. Like, will I be okay with this action an hour from now, or am I going to feel more guilty, which will make me want to drink more and eat more because I already fucked it up. So I might as well do a little bit more of that. And then you wake up on a Saturday morning feeling bloated, you know, guilty from the alcohol, extra sodium. And you're like, man.
Taco Bell is still on the coffee table. Uneaten.
Man, I'm tired. So I'm going to try to skip breakfast so that I can slim down a little bit.
Yeah, now you start cutting
but then you come home from Costco, you saw all these foods, you're doing the right thing, you're taking yourself to Costco, driving your car, getting all your food for meal prep.
Go eat healthy.
Yeah.
But
and then you're like, shit, man, I'm so hungry.
So then everything looks
good.
So
then you stop at, you know, like at a store somewhere in your town.
No, you eat all the samples at Costco. You start eating the samples.
The healthy samples.
But
those Aussie bites.
But then it goes from healthy to like, this is all right. And then to like, fuck it, who cares? And I'll start Monday.
Now you're really hungry. So then you're like, okay, you're like, I'm gonna get a sub from across the street. Instead of a burger, I'm gonna go and get a sub or something. And then you're like, okay, I've done a lot today, but shit, it's the weekend. I'm going to do something about it. And then, you know, like, it's party time.
If, like, I'm telling you, I think we like hammered the inner circle yesterday, but I'm going to do it again. Because if this is your cycle and you're like, oh my God, that's my life. You're describing.
If you feel like
hold on. If that's literally a description of where you're at and like what you've been through recently, you have to do the inner circle. Yes, it costs money. Yes, it's an investment. Your life will absolutely change. So if you don't care to overcome it, don't do the inner circle. Not for you. If you do, message me. Now, leave this call and go message me and then come back.
Anybody in here is either in the inner circle or has been in the inner circle, go ahead and drop an IC and a heart. Yep, still playing the game, Samantha.
You know, it's real. And so anyways, you know, today's episode is...
So consequences, that's the other thing. You know, like you are going to have to confront yourself of the consequences. Confront yourself of the consequences ahead of time so that you won't have to deal with the consequences afterwards. Confront with your consequences ahead of time so that you won't have to deal with your consequences afterwards.
Chosen pre-consequence versus consequence by default.
Yeah.
Default or design.
Just think about it. Either think about yourself. For some of you guys, it could be where you are now. For some of you guys, it's who you were before. For some of you guys, it's people that you know in your life. How many times do you think they think about the consequence of eating this thing before they actually eat it? They don't. They think about the instant gratification.
How it tastes, how it feels.
You guys, we live in a society that trains our brain to think from an instant gratification standpoint. You know, thinking about the consequences ahead of time, that delays the process. That's very uncommon. So like, it literally requires you to stop and think and ask yourself, is it going to be worth it? Will feeling this bloatedness, will knowing that, you know, what I start on Friday night will make me feel a certain way on Monday, is it actually worth it? How good it tastes right now.
You know why we don't think about that or consider that?
Because it's accountability and discipline?
No. Kind of. But before that, we know what the answer should be, and we don't want to hear it from ourselves. Hold on. This brownie looks amazing. I'm on my period. I'm feeling really moody. I finished my job today at work and now I'm home and this brownie looks amazing and I want to eat it. Wait. Self, stop. Think about this. How are you going to feel afterwards? What's this going to lead to? We don't ask ourselves those questions because we know the answer and we don't want to hear it. So we just go, hurry before I think, And then the thinking happens afterwards.
Yeah. And then, you know, those treats are, let's face it, nobody really, you know, wants to reward themselves with 3 pounds of lettuce. You know, instead it's probably like a pint or 2 or 3.
Good job, me. I'm going to have
of
4
ice
carrots.
Yeah.
You know,
so you know, those things, they're for one, they're highly addictive, super high in processed sugar and processed salt. Not all salts and sugar are created equal. Now, don't think that if it's natural sugar and that's what your granola bar says, that it's in alignment with your goals. That's another conversation. But you know, processed sugar and processed salt, like, is going to make you want to have more of it. That's just a fact.
It's chemical addiction. Like, it's literally like a drug. Like, the chemical responses that happen in your brain when you eat sugar and like processed sugar makes you want more. You think about it. Yeah. Who has ever thought like, oh, I'm addicted to sugar? It's probably true, but like any other addiction, the possibility is real that it can be overcome unless you label yourself as an addict.
Well, the thing with sugar, the problem with sugar, unlike, go ahead.
I want to just like, because this can be a touchy subject, so I'm not here to try to say like, you know, under any of these circumstances, like what your life scenario is or anybody's life scenario is. But what I am saying is the way we use our words and the way we think about things and how we label ourselves ends up becoming who we are. Like, legit. If I'm going to use the word addiction, and there's many things that people can be addicted to. It's not limited to drugs. People can be addicted to fitness. People can be addicted to success. People can be addicted to money. People can be addicted to whatever, any of that. And they could be good addictions, like positive, helpful, productive addictions, and then harmful and hurtful addictions, right? But if you label yourself, rather than saying, I struggle with addiction is one thing, I am an addict of is a completely another beast. So all I want to bring is the awareness of like, if you want to overcome a struggle that you have, specifically in this case, like feeling addicted to sugar, then you have to understand you struggle with an addiction. You are not a sugar addict.
Unless you label yourself that way.
Don't do it. I'm just saying right now, you are not that. You struggle, which I did too, 100%. Yeah. So it can be overcome.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to touch on what.
Look what Tracy said, though.
Catherine said, yeah, food regret is real. I know from my own experience, like when because I used to struggle with real bad, like, sugar addiction, like no doubt. And I would feel so guilty for eating something small that I ate that I would continue the rest of my day binge eating on like sugary things, just like to almost justify like the small little thing that I did. And it used to be such a horrible, terrifying, like it freezes you, like it just like nothing else can happen in the day. And when something is, your brain is consumed on one thing and one thing only, that you fucked up and all you want is more of it. It's crazy. So if this is something that you're going with, know that we definitely know where you're coming from. We can totally relate. And also, like, if this is something that you want to get away from, know that this is something that we can absolutely help you with.
I want to bring up this next comment. And before I do, I want you to know that the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to make you upset. Not with us. I want to make you upset with what is going on in the food industry. And I want you to be aware, like I want you to be so infuriated and aware that this is happening that you're like, fuck them. And you do the right thing for you. Okay. Food scientists get paid big bucks to make you want to eat more by using chemical preservatives. They literally get paid to figure out what amount of sugar, salt, whatever will make you addicted so that you come and you spend more money to buy the same products. It's murder. It's literally murder.
Let me say something though. I truly believe that most food scientists went into food science, speaking as somebody who claimed back in the day, like when you're really into nutrition and you want to help people, you're like, I'm going to study, like I'm going to try to be like, some kind of nutrition scientist, right? Because like that's the mainstream way of thinking about it, right? And I truly believe that they go into it because they really have the right intentions. However, like food scientists are employees for the government or for massive companies, like big monopolies, right? And if they're given a project, they're not going to say no to it. So I truly believe that, food scientists do have the right intentions. They're just doing their job. It's the people at the top. Okay. It's the people at the top who get to make the rules. And that's where the issue starts. And that's why we got to create a real strong and a real massive army, you guys, so we can go and knock down on the FDA and tell them, listen up. We know everything. And we ain't scared either. What's the worst you're going to do? You're going to kick me out of this country? Okay, cool.
Boogie does agree. Guys.
So that being said, we better grow to be a really strong, a really cool, a really efficient, and also intimidating when needed army, so that we can create the change needed. So
positively intimidating.
So check this out. We're so grateful for you joining us today and for you spending time with us today. However, in order for this army...
No, however, we are really grateful. And would be even more grateful if you would
please take a second to share this video with somebody who would find benefit from it so that they can join the army, so the army can multiply, so that we
can march
to the FDA and talk about some things.
Our goal is just to, literally, like, if you're aware, we're already winning.
Yes.
That's enough.
That's step
right
one.
Like, we're already winning. As long as you're aware, you can take care of you. You can take responsibility for you. And that matters. So, if there's somebody else that you thought of while you're listening to this, whether it's, the intentionality, the treating yourself, the guilt, the guilt-free, the, sugar addiction, any of that, then, please share this with them.
Yeah.
Please share this with them. Even if just for awareness, so anyways, we are on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, lifestyle, and financial habits that have transformed ours. And you are part of the army. So suit up.
Suit up in your army suit.
You'll be able to suit up soon.
Yes. Yes. You guys.
All right.
Today's Thursday. Callie wants to say hi. And I think Boogie does too, which means that tomorrow is Friday. You guys, Fridays are guest interview days. And tomorrow we have a very, very special conversation. We're talking about living your life on purpose and, just evolving through the different chapters of life. We're going to be talking with an ex-pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals and Texans, Kyle McLellan. I'm going to ask him tomorrow. Do I pronounce why are last names so weird to pronounce? Thank God for Atwood. It's simple. But you guys, tomorrow at noon, we're going to be chatting with Kyle McLellan. Super incredible guy. And we're going to be talking about, we're going to have, it's not unusual, but a very deep conversation that you won't expect an MLB player to have. Okay. So join us tomorrow at noon Eastern. Super looking forward to having you guys there. But between now and then, we hope that you have a beautiful day. Stay intentional, live on purpose. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.